up, Wallace, love. How's business? Drop by any time.
Could those be? I couldn't help but notice the flowers on your window ledge, Mrs. Gabberly.
Aye, lovely, aren't they? Bring a touch of summer to the town square. Especially the purple pansies. Always been partial to pansies, me. You should see the flat. It's full of them.
They're blinking weeds, if you ask me. Can't abide them.
Oh, go and suck a lemon, you moaning ninny. Oh, now look what you've done, you clumsy oaf. And open up that window when I'm yelling at you.
All right. But only to prove your insults don't get to me anymore. I can deflect them all.
Is that so?
I'd be happy to take these flowers off your hands, Mrs. Gabberly. That is, if they make your husband unhappy.
That's a good reason to keep 'em, to my way of thinking. But go ahead if you want 'em.
Much obliged. Purple pansies. Mr. Gabberly.
I suppose you've an insult for me and all.
No, I've no insult for you. Pardon me, Mrs. Gabberly. I wonder, that is, could you spare a...
Verb.
Sorry?
Give me a verb, Wallace. An action word.
Oh, playing a word game, are we?
In a manner of speaking.
Oh, well, let's see. A verb. How about to grub?
Ooh, I like that. That's a good one. Now I need a thing.
A thing?
Aye, you know, something physical you could touch.
Something I can touch. Toad?
Why not? Now a descriptive word, if you please.
Mild?
Oh, that's a corker, that is. Last one, nearly done. I need another thing. Or like a person or animal.
A person or animal? Now, let me see now. Turkey?
Yes, that's a thing. Hey!
What is it now?
Go grub a toad, you mild turkey!
The turkey? Oh, the ginger bird! Oh, mild! That's a cruel blow!
A good solid insult, I thought. But maybe we need to think different.
That was an interesting word game, Mrs. Gabberly.
Want to play again? I need a word, Wallace.
How about cheese? It's one of my favourites.
No, an action word.
Oh, yes, an action word. What about batter?
Fine, that'll do. Now a thing, if you please.
Right, a thing. How about stew?
Why not? Now a descriptive word, if you please.
Mild?
You're good at this. And finally, a person or a thing.
A person or a thing? Gentleman?
Yes, that's a thing.
What is it now?
Go, batter! A stew pot, you mild gentleman!
Hey! You do know how to wound a bloke, Winnie.
Got him that time. Serves him right for being such a grumpy old grandad.
Would you mind, if that is, could you see your way fit to lending me that pot of pansies, Mrs. Gabberley, for business purposes?
Business purposes? Well, be my guest. I've got bunches of them.
If it isn't Wallace. I had a notion he'd be nosing round the police station this morning.
Morning, Constable Dibbins.
You're off to an early start today. Not planning any more visits to the shops, are you?
Oh, no. Yesterday was a one-off. I'm in town on business.
Is that so?
Oh, there's Miss Sniffer 3000, banged up like a common criminal. Oh, breaks my heart. That cheese detector's not a bad machine, just a bit overkeen. It's all the energides in its system. Energides? It seems to me, yes. Energides is one of the ingredients in Rex Armstrong's quick-grow muscle formula. I used my last Energide battery to fuel the sniffer. I'll have to get it back if I want to finish the formula. The Sniffer 3000 wasn't cut out for prison life. It runs on Energides, not porridge. Must be awfully hot under that helmet, I reckon. A sunny day like today.
It's a trifle sweltering, yes. But danger and discomfort are all in the line of duty for an officer of the law, though most folk don't appreciate it.
Cheesy nibble, Officer Dibbins?
Well, well, well. Wensleydale. Not attempting to bribe an officer, are you, Wallace? For shame. The great British Bobby cannot be bought off with a cheesy nibble.
How much does a helmet like that weigh?
£8 and 5 ounces. Some days feels more like £80.
I noticed you received my petition for early release of the Sniffer 3000, Constable Dibbins.
Yes, and I notice it's attracted the signatures of just one man and his dog.
We're only appealing for natural justice.
But your blinking cheese detector thingamy, what do you call it, destroyed an entire grocery store.
Teething problems. It's still only a prototype.
A prototype? It's a villain, if you ask me. A diabolical device. You can see that in its face.
My machine isn't evil, Constable Dibbins. It's just got a short fuse and a few loose nuts.
We'll see. I'm going to formally interview this glorified tin can of yours, and if it can convince me that it's not a menace to society, then perhaps I'll release it into your custody. You there, prisoner. Kindly look at me when I'm talking to you. Look at me when I'm talking to you. Cheeky blighter. We've had our little chat.
And?
I'm afraid there's no talking to your sniffer. Hardwired for criminality, I'd say.
The Sniffer 3000 wasn't cut out for prison life. It runs on energides, not porridge. The Sniffer's just trying to get to the cheese, but the machine sounds like it's crying. Oh, almost brings a tear to my eye just watching. Can you see fit to grant my appeal, Constable Dibbins?
Not on your Nelly. That heap of nuts and bolts is now but trouble. Couldn't give me a single straight answer when I tried to interrogate it.
It only responds to certain commands. I know, I programmed it. Perhaps you could try a gentler approach?
Well, I'll have another chat with it. More friendly-like.
Oh, yes. Oh, much obliged, Constable Dibbins.
I ain't promising nothing, mind. Time we had a little chat. Look at me when I'm talking to you. That's more like it. Now you've had time to think, what can you tell me about what happened yesterday? Feel bad about what you did, do you? He's weeping. Maybe this contraption's got feelings after all. Now, I want a truthful answer. If I release you from custody, will you do it again? Well, I'll be darned. The prisoner has been interviewed.
Yes?
And having exhibited signs of repentance, I am prepared to release you into your protective custody, provided, Wallace, you give me an assurance that you'll keep your blinking eye on him. Or it. Or whatever he answers to.
Oh, I'll keep an eye on him, Constable Dibbins. You have my word on that. Now that's a fine-looking postbox. It would make a good chassis for my honey-powered vacuumatic, but that's tomorrow's project.
Have you brought it, Mr. Wallace? Don't forget, Mr. Wallace, 50 gallons by sunset.
I wonder where Major Crumb disappeared to. It's empty. I could have sworn there was a tea bag left. Hold on a minute. Strongium. That's one of the ingredients in Rex Armstrong's Quick Grow Muscle formula. I need that tea bag. The Mixomatic will be perfect for whipping up a tasty growth formula. Come back here, you thieving rascal. That's my tea bag.
I won't have you threatening that dear little creature. Not while he's in my garden. You're persistent in your attentions this morning, Mr. Wallace.
Cold toast. Shame to let it go to waste. Here you are, little fella. Try some toast.
Yes, do feed him. I'm sure the little mite's hungry. What are you looking for exactly? Back again, Mr. Wallace? I'm flattered.
I wonder, Miss Flit, if you would be so kind as to, hand me that tea bag.
Tea bag, Mr. Wallace? What tea bag?
The one on your, ooh.
Are you feeling quite well, Mr. Wallace?
Miss Flit, if you'll just take a look at the pansies, I think you'll...
I told you, Mr. Wallace. I refuse to let those yellow hooligans have the satisfaction of... Oh, Paul, you see? They're mending their ways. They just needed a firm talking to, that's all. Mother forgives you, you naughty little pansies. Sweet satisfaction. satisfaction, Mr. Wallace.
Yes, indeed. Very sweet. Awfully long drop.
Wallace! Thank heavens you made it to the shelter! I'd given you up for lost. Caught in the crossfire, were you? You've got to get your mind off the carnage up there. Would you like to hear one of my old war stories? I'd help pass the time.
Well, I hate to...
Of course you would. I brought visual aids. I can still see it perfectly. After all,
What a face!
that's me kitted out for heavy combat. That helmet took many a dent before the war was through. Without it, I could have become seriously loopy.
Take my advice, Wallace. Never go into battle without a regulation helmet like the one in this picture.
I can still see it perfectly.
Who's that fellow?
That's me as a young recruit, off to basic training. How I cried when they cut off my golden curls. But I cheered up as soon as they issued me with a beautiful set of dog tags. Dashed useful dog tags. If you happen to forget your rank or name, you've got it right there. Never go into battle without your dog tags, Wallace. 3 weeks later, I was like...
Now, there's a sight.
That's me posing with Mother next to my 40mm Bofors. Look at the size of that monster. Big Betty, we called her. The gun, not my mother.
Sounds like you were quite a soldier, Major Crumb.
Well, Wallace, why the past tense?
Oh dear.
Once a soldier, always a soldier. Something you civilians will never grasp. And I'd be happy to prove it by charging into the fray. That is,
If I were recommissioned and had a proper helmet with a cute little brim, and if I could find someone to take charge of this shelter and distribute the protein bars.
Pardon me, Major. About those protein bars of yours.
rations, Wallace. Emergency rations for... emergencies, obviously. Been stockpiling them since the war. Enough nutrition in them to feed a man under fire for a whole day.
And very tasty they look, too.
Tasty? They're foul, but packed with high-strength protein.
I'd love to try one.
Out of the question, I'm afraid. You don't have clearance. And besides, protein bars are only issued in the event of civil emergencies. Orders are orders, Wallace. By George, this is an emergency. Private Gromit! I hereby issue you 1 protein bar. Guard it well, and see that it lasts you all day. Wallace, here's one for you as well.
Much obliged.
Ouch! What did you expect, Wallace? You can't snatch a soldier's helmet like that and not hear about it.
Our Queen, God bless her.
Sure, she looks thinner. Last time I stood to attention during the national anthem.
Wait! Careful, Wallace. You're heading into hostile territory. The enemy has clearly landed, and most likely set up camp in West Wallaby Street. Who knows what the Blighters have done to our once peaceful neighborhood? If you make it back alive, you'll have to give us a full report. In the meantime, eat your protein rations. The protein will keep your strength up, especially if you're captured. Brave lad! We'll keep the home fires burning.
So that's where the dog tags went. I'm sure Gromit will be glad to get them back.
You see, Private Gromit, I told you he'd make it back to us alive. Our Wallace is a fighter. Bagged a few of those blighters, did you?
Great news, Gromit. I found those dog tags you misplaced. Now you can walk around looking official.
Any news from above? Gad, how I wish I were back in the fight!
It isn't like Gromit to be so absent-minded. I thought you might find this useful, Major Crumb.
A helmet! By George, Wallace, there's nothing like a good helmet. Makes a fellow want to put himself in the path of projectiles. If you know what I mean. But I haven't been recommissioned.
I found these in the hall, Major Crumb.
Dog tags! I've been recommissioned! Bound to happen, of course. Can't leave good military material sitting on the shelf. My place is in the trenches. By thunder, I'm a soldier again. Sir George is ready for his dragon. And yet, duty compels me to remain here. No one else to guard the protein bars. Confounded sense of duty.
If your heart's set on going into battle, Major Crumb...
Oh, it is, Wallace, it is!
Well then, I don't see why you shouldn't. Go back upstairs, that is.
But the protein bars!
I'm sure someone else can dispense those.
But who? It's a major responsibility, Wallace. I can't entrust these to just anyone.
If your heart's set on going into battle, Major Crumb...
Oh, it is, Wallace, it is!
Well then, I don't see why you shouldn't. Go back upstairs, that is.
But the protein bars!
I'm sure someone else can dispense those.
But who? It's a major responsibility, Wallace. I can't entrust these to just anyone.
Gromit could do the job.
Private Gromit? Can I entrust my precious cache of protein bars to a Pongo? Perhaps so. He's proven himself a trusty foot soldier. Yes. If I am called away to the front, I'd feel comfortable leaving Private Gromit in charge. Good heavens! I shouldn't be skulking around in a cellar like a frightened rat. I'm a soldier, by thunder! Private Gromit, I hereby appoint you officer commanding this air raid shelter. Here, you pass out the rations. I've got a war to win. Charge!
to get my hands on a protein bar. Gromit! Request dispensation of protein bars, soldier. The Mix-O-Matic will be perfect for whipping up a tasty growth formula. One unit of Energide fluid for a creamy finish. One dose of strontium into the mix. One generous chunk of protein to give it texture. Now to mix up my very own quick grow muscle formula. That ought to do it. No, the Mix-O-Matic's all mixed up. Stop! Stop! Help! Gromit! Oh, thanks, lad.
Checking to see if anything's sprouted yet, Mr. Wallace.
Well, as a matter of fact, Miss Flit,
Really? I don't see what you're hoping to... Oh! I don't believe
it
it!
works! It works! The homemade quick grow miracle muscle formula works! We're in business, lad. You see, Gromit, look where a bit of enterprise can get you. If I hadn't found that flyer you chucked in the bin, I'd never have been able to concoct my Miracle Grow formula. And then where would we be? You really must be careful what you chuck out, you know? Blinking Nora!
Oh, my word! I think I'm going to faint.
This ought to be plenty of fuel for the old pollinator.
That's champion, that is. 50 gallons of honey, and just in time for my annual tea and crumpet festival. Pleasure doing business with you, Wallace.
Always aim to please, our bees. That's the last of our bills, Gromit, and we've got just about enough left over for that little holiday we've been planning. This year, I fancy Blackpool. Oh, yes, lad. I think our money troubles are over at last.
Air raid! Air raid! Battle
Oh, dear.
stations everywhere!
Not this again.
Excellent vantage point. Prepare for a crash landing, you devils! Sorry, Wallace, but I'm going to have to commandeer your dining room.
Now, just a minute, Major Crump.
No time to argue, old man. The whole town's under bombardment.
But
Here they come!
was an egg, Gromit. Giant bees.
Heaven help the good citizens of West Wallaby Street! Civilians, out!
But
That's an order, Wallace. Private Gromit, kindly escort this civilian from the battle zone. Keep the faith, soldier. West Wallaby Street needs you.
good heavens, Gromit, you don't suppose those monsters have anything to do with our honey-making operation, do you? Bumbling heck! My quick grow formula, it didn't just affect the flowers. Just hope it's a wrong number and not more bad news. Yes, Mr. Paneer. Well, of course you're upset. Being dive-bombed by giant bees isn't good for any business. We're doing all we can to get the situation under control. Normal honey service will be resumed as soon as possible. With normal-sized bees. That's a promise. There's a giant fly in the soup, lad. And it's shaped like a bee. They're taking over the town. Time to read the Riot Act. I am their employer, after all. Oh! They won't listen. They're completely out of control. This honey business has a sting in the tail and no mistake. Oh! Do something, Gromit! Hello, from bee to... Oh, Constable Dibbins. Well, if I could, I would. Oh, but it's...
Ah, Mr. Gapple here. I ain't much good at eating humble pie, but I spoke out of turn yesterday. You're not a daft apers after all. What I said to you, I take it all back. You're a credit to the town. Just a minute. What's this? Ah! Giant bigot bees! Oh my giddy heart! There's only one nincompoop round here what could have caused this!
See? But the good news is... Oh, that bad, eh? Well, if I could, I would. Oh, no, but it's not that... Careful with the auto-flip frying pan, lad. The timer mechanism is very delicate. It's liable to spring at odd moments. Well, if I could, I would. Oh, no, but it's not that simple.